The GPS tracker showed my wife. Abigail was at the riverside in downtown, when she was supposed to be at a weekend marketing conference in the mountains. Not only that, but her boss, Kenneth, had just walked through the hotel lobby like he owned the place. This is Cheating Facts, and if you love true life story on betrayal, kindly subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'm James, and 6 months ago, I discovered that my wife of 6 years had been living a complete double life. What I thought was dedication to her career turned out to be the most elaborate deception I've ever witnessed. The moment that changed everything happened on a Tuesday morning. When I was reviewing our credit card statement, there was a $180 charge from the Riverside Inn that I didn't recognize. Abigail, what's this hotel charge from last week? She was pouring coffee, getting ready for another long day at her marketing firm. She barely glanced at the statement. Oh, that. The company booked rooms for the Johnson client presentation. We had to stay late to set up. Kenneth's very good about covering expenses when we work these crazy hours. Something felt wrong. The Johnson presentation had been 3 weeks ago, not last week. Why was this charge showing up now? And why hadn't she mentioned staying at a hotel that night? But I pushed the doubt away. Abigail had been working incredible hours lately under Kenneth, her regional marketing director. He was divorced, early 40s. The type who wore expensive watches and used phrases like maximizing synergies. Abigail always spoke respectfully about him, praising his strategic thinking during challenging projects. Over the next few weeks, more irregularities appeared. Another hotel charge, dinner receipts from upscale restaurants, on nights when she claimed to be eating takeout at the office, gas purchases in parts of town where her company had no locations. Each time I asked, she had perfect explanations. Client dinners, strategy sessions at Kenneth's house because he had better presentation equipment, meetings with potential partners across town. Everything sounded reasonable, but the pattern was building. The breaking point came on a Thursday evening. Abigail texted saying she'd be working late on the Morrison account with Kenneth, preparing for a major presentation. I decided to surprise her with dinner from her favorite Italian place. When I arrived at her office building at 8:30, the parking garage was nearly empty. The security guard confirmed that most marketing staff had left by 7. I called her. Music was playing in the background. Hey babe, what's up? I'm at your office with dinner. Where are you? Pause. The music got quieter. Oh, we decided to work from Kenneth's place tonight. Better set up for the presentation prep. She gave me an address in an upscale neighborhood. I drove there and saw her car in the driveway of a modern house with large windows. 2 silhouettes were moving around inside. I called again. I'm outside with dinner. Outside where? Kenneth's house. You said you were working here. Another pause. We just finished actually. I'm heading home now. I watched the house for 10 minutes. Neither car moved. No one came outside. When I got home, Abigail arrived 40 minutes later, claiming she'd stopped for gas and called her mother. That night, I installed a family tracking app on both our phones, telling her it was for safety. She agreed without hesitation, which made me feel guilty for doubting her. The guilt disappeared when I started seeing her real locations. Over 2 weeks, I tracked a pattern of deception that was staggering. On nights when she claimed to be working late at the office, she was at Kenneth's house. On weekends when she said she was meeting college friends, she was at hotels. On the Saturday, she claimed to be at a marketing conference. She was at a cabin resort 2 hours north. Each lie was delivered with perfect confidence, complete with details about work projects, client needs, and team dynamics that I now realized were completely fictional. I felt physically sick. The woman I'd planned a future with was living a double life so elaborate that lying had become second nature. I started documenting everything. Screenshots of her locations compared to her stories. A detailed timeline showing months of systematic deception. The evidence was overwhelming, but I needed to witness it myself. The following Friday, Abigail said she was going to a weekend marketing workshop in the mountains. She packed professional clothes, presentation materials, and her laptop. She kissed me goodbye and promised to call when she arrived safely. The tracking app showed she never left the city. She went straight to the Riverside in downtown. I drove to the hotel and parked where I could see the entrance. At 7:30, Kenneth's silver Mercedes pulled up to the valet. He emerged wearing casual clothes, not business attire, and walked into the lobby with complete familiarity. I sat there for 2 hours, processing what I was witnessing. This wasn't just an affair. was an elaborately planned deception using company resources and professional relationships as cover. Sunday night, Abigail returned with detailed stories about the workshop, networking opportunities, and new strategies. She showed me photos from what she claimed was the mountain resort, but I recognized the backgrounds from the hotel's website. How was the workshop? I asked. Incredibly valuable, she said. Unpacking clothes that didn't smell like mountain air. Kenneth thinks these new approaches could really help our Q3 numbers. That was the moment I knew our marriage was over. Not just because of the affair, but because she could look me in the eye and create detailed, fictional narratives while she'd actually been in a hotel room with her boss. Monday morning, I called Kenneth's supervisor and requested a meeting. I brought printed evidence of tracking data, credit card statements, and a timeline showing how company resources had been used to facilitate their affair. I explained my concerns about potential liability issues. The investigation was swift. Both Abigail and Kenneth were terminated within a week for violating policies about undisclosed supervisor-subordinate relationships, misuse of company resources, and liability concerns. When Abigail came home after being fired, she was furious. "You destroyed my career. Do you have any idea what you've done?" I spread the evidence across our kitchen table, location data, receipts, timeline comparisons, and photos of them entering the hotel. I documented what you chose to do. You destroyed your own career when you decided to have an affair with your boss and use company resources to hide it. She tried to minimize it, claiming it was just a connection that had gotten out of hand, that she loved me and wanted to fix our marriage. But I'd seen too much evidence of planning and calculation. "How long has this been going on?" She looked down. "For months. For months of elaborate lies. For months of fake work stories, fictional client meetings, and imaginary professional obligations. For months of coming home to me every night while secretly building a relationship with someone else." I filed for divorce the next week. Her lawyer tried to argue for alimony and a larger asset share, but the evidence of misconduct worked against her. Losing her job due to professional violations didn't help her case. The divorce was finalized 2 months ago. Abigail moved in with Kenneth temporarily, but their relationship fell apart quickly. Apparently, connections built on deception and professional misconduct don't translate well to actual partnership. The hardest part wasn't losing Abigail, it was accepting that the person I'd married had never really existed. The dedicated professional I'd admired was someone who would systematically lie to her spouse while using work as cover for infidelity. The partner I trusted with my future was someone who could create elaborate fictional stories about her life while living completely differently. But I learned something important about modern relationships and technology. The same tools meant to keep us connected can reveal how disconnected we really are. The tracking app designed for peace of mind became evidence of betrayal. I also learned that people closest to us are often capable of the most sophisticated deception because they know exactly how to exploit our trust and manipulate our assumptions about their character. The tracking data showed me something else crucial. This wasn't a moment of weakness or an emotional mistake. This was a calculated, ongoing deception that required planning, coordination, and a complete disregard for our marriage vows. When I confronted her with the evidence, Abigail's first reaction wasn't remorse or apology, it was anger that she'd been caught. That told me everything about who she really was underneath the person I thought I'd married. Today, I'm rebuilding my life with a clearer understanding of what genuine partnership requires. I'm more aware of red flags, more willing to verify suspicious behavior, and more confident in distinguishing between reasonable explanations and elaborate lies. The GPS tracking didn't break my heart. It revealed that my heart had already been broken by someone who chose deception over honesty, temporary excitement over lasting commitment, and professional misconduct over integrity. Finding out the truth about Abigail's affair was devastating, but it also freed me from a relationship built on systematic lies and gave me the opportunity to find someone who values honesty as much as I do. Looking back, the signs were there much earlier than that first hotel charge. The late nights that became routine, the way she'd smile at her phone and quickly put it away, the increased attention to her appearance for work events, the defensiveness when I asked simple questions about her day, but I trusted her completely. and she exploited that trust to create an elaborate fiction about her life. The most painful part wasn't the affair itself, it was realizing how easily she could lie to my face day after day while planning her next deception. If you're watching this and something feels off in your relationship, trust your instincts. Verify suspicious behavior. In our connected world, the truth has a way of surfacing eventually. The question is whether you'll discover it accidentally or investigate deliberately. You deserve honesty, loyalty, and genuine partnership. Don't accept elaborate explanations for simple questions. Don't ignore patterns of suspicious behavior. And don't let someone exploit your trust to live a double life at your expense. The technology that revealed Abigail's deception is available to everyone. Use it wisely, but use it when your instincts tell you something is wrong. Sometimes the most painful discoveries are also the most necessary ones.